Hello everyone and welcome back to K-All. I'm Angel for those of you who don't know me, and for those of you who do know me, hello, how are you? Welcome back to the show. Today we are going to be discussing my experience at the Run Seokjin _EP tour. So I am really excited to get into this because I had the chance to see him perform 2 days in a row at Prudential Center. So we're going to go really in depth on the concert experience, what stood out for me each day, just the set list as a whole, and what made this tour so special. If you haven't seen my episode on Run JIN before, I highly recommend watching the previous episode that I posted a couple weeks ago, because that kind of covered his first concert, his first performance in Seoul, that actually featured some of the members' appearances from BTS. Now today, we are having a full circle moment, kind of discussing his final shows for the US leg of the tour. So I'm really excited. I'm not going to waste much time talking. You know what to do. If you're watching on YouTube, give this video a like, comment, subscribe, let me know how you're doing. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple, hello, thank you for tuning in. Please feel free to give us some feedback on the show, whether it's in a review or a little bit of a rating, hopefully 5-star. But without further ado, folks, let's get it. Okay, so JIN performed 2 sold-out shows at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey for his #RunSeokjin_EP tour. This is not your typical K-pop concert, because instead of opening with a dramatic VCR to build suspense, JIN takes a very different approach with his show. He simply strolls down the runway, just moseying along until he presses a giant red button at the end of the aisle. And I know, in the cartoons, they never say, press the red button. They say, don't press the red button. But JIN, he's willing to take risk. So he shouts, Dojun, which means challenge in Korean, and then the concert commences. So for my experience, the first night, I went with my best friend Allie, and she had no idea what the set list was going to be like. I didn't let her listen to my episode where I analyzed it in Seoul because I wanted her to be surprised. And boy, was she surprised. I have a lot of clips, a lot of footage showing our first experience that night one. So if you want to take a look, I actually created a vlog so you could actually see in real time the moment that Allie's like, what is he doing on the stage? Why is he here? And I'm just like, I know. And I don't know why that was the answer that I came up with, but it's probably because I did know. I knew he was going to do that. I watched the concert. In fact, I watched it 2 days in a row for the Seoul concert because I just can't help myself. I have no self-control when it comes to BTS. So after he goes down the runway and he goes, Dojun, all of a sudden, fireworks erupt, lights flash, confetti flying everywhere. Even in the nosebleeds where we were day one, we saw confetti flying to the highest heights, and the instrumental to Running Wild blast through the arena. It's truly a sight to behold and a sonic symphony. It's just something to hear. It's the craziest experience, and I have to say, day one and day two, I wasn't prepared either time. I felt a little inner explosion in my heart, and I was ready to soar out of my seats. So, as this all goes down, JIN suddenly burst into motion, dashing across the stage in a sparkly blue-studded jacket and matching pants, which is very reminiscent of Like Crazy Jimin, and I have to mention it every time. But he really does set the tone for a crazy, crazy concert. I can't even begin to explain how JIN's concert just feels like a celebration of living. The way that he orchestrates everything is just like, I'm grateful to be alive, and I want you all to be grateful to be alive. That's what I get. That's the sense, that's the vibe he exudes, that's the energy he gives off, and everyone was dancing and singing up until the nosebleeds. You could hear everybody singing their heart out and dancing. There were people of all ages. It was just a beautiful sight to behold. And as he sings Running Wild, what's really insane is that there's absolutely no wavering in his voice when he's jumping across the stage. He will be jumping for like a minute straight, never stopping, running wild, jumping wild, and his voice is beautiful. Right after that insane song, there's no pause, no hesitation. He dives straight into the rockabilly groove of I'll Be There. And I'll Be There is a song that is very special to ARMY because it has such a beautiful sentiment, and he really rang true to that statement by continuing to sing with us on this entire tour. As he sings, "I swear that I will always sing for you," these lyrics just really hit me hard because it made me think about June 13th of 2024, the day after his discharge when JIN performed for ARMY without missing a single beat. He wasted no time getting into that studio to record the second part of Super Tuna. He appeared on his bicycle, riding off onto the stage for the astronaut with his, newly growing in hair and his beautiful energy and presence and those worldwide gorgeous lips. He was ready to sing his heart out that day, even though he was afraid and it was new for him, and he hasn't stopped since. He really kept that promise. "You're so gay, I will come to you." He meant it. And to me, the way that he performs, it's not just a gesture, it's love in action. And through the hashtag #RunSeokjin_EP tour, he's really kept that promise that he brought to us in "I Will Come to You" and "I'll Be There." He brought his voice to cities across the world. And it's just such a remarkable experience. So the fact that I got to witness this firsthand with my best friend and with my mom, who's been my ride or die ARMY since day one, I really couldn't ask for anything more. It was no easy feat getting to the concert either day, but it was worth every second of it. And each stage was just showered with confetti, mirroring the burst of joy that was shared with JIN and the ARMY. Every lyric sung was just such a beautiful sentiment. And he closed out "I'll Be There" with this playful little air drum roll and a jump that landed perfectly on beat, truly showcasing how JIN is a rock star in his own right. He also does this little arm windmill? Yeah, like an arm windmill move that's very reminiscent of when Jungkook swung his arm around for Chom Chom Chom. If you don't know that clip, look it up. Chom 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 BTS. And that was the energy he was giving, and we called it out right away at the concert. But I do want to backtrack a little bit. I gave you guys a brief little intro of the concert and the experience and what we were feeling, but I didn't really tell you what happened with the journey of trying to get there. So we live about 2 hours to 2.5 hours away from Prudential Center, so it was already such a trek just getting there. And since we were going 2 days in a row, we decided to book a hotel so that we could stay over, relax a little, and then get ready for the next day. Because night 1 we had nosebleeds, and night 2 we had Soundcheck VIP. It was serious business, important business. We were not gonna play games. So we weren't going to play games, but unfortunately navigation was. So when we navigated to our hotel the first day, it just so happened that the location that was sent to our email was actually the office for the hotel, which was 40 minutes out of the way of where we were supposed to go. So we drove all the way there, find out it's the wrong place, and have to drive another 40 minutes back, which ended up making our time of travel around 3 hours. So this was pretty devastating as the concert was approaching. It was 6 something at this point, and we're like, oh no, we have to be there by 8. We can't play these games. So we drive to the next hotel that we're supposed to be at, only to find out that our hotel is a subsidiary of that hotel. So we had to get in the car yet again after taking out all of our luggage and getting the bellhop, and then mosey back in and go to the next hotel. Now, me and Allie, my best friend, fully thought we would have time to prepare for this concert once we got to the hotel, so we decided to wear comfy clothes on the ride in, only to realize by the time we got to the correct hotel, there was about 30 minutes before the concert. Do you know you have 30 minutes? 30 minutes. We didn't know, but then we did. So before you knew it, cowgirl hats were flying everywhere. We were putting our little army bombs in their dress and attire, which was a little BTS bow with all of the members' names, as well as a matching cowgirl hat that featured a BTS symbol on the front and an army symbol on the back. And we got our outfits on, didn't really have time to do makeup, but we still looked our best. We were ready for that nosebleed section, and we were ready to rope it. Or as my sign said, tie me up. Now, for a little background on that, if some of my listeners don't know the context, at the JIN concert that he held in Seoul, when all of the BTS members were there, V had told Jimin that his favorite JIN song was Tie Me Up. He was referring to Rope It. I don't know what possessed him to say tie me up, but that's what he said. So I figured I'm going to roll with it. I made my sign say tie me up. My best friend actually orchestrated it for me after I gave her the creative vision. And we had a little Teishi Ta on the sign, tied up in true V fashion, alongside Jin with his little Rope It attire, and a really old debut photo of Namjoon kind of doing this epic yoga pose holding a BTS sign that we added K-all to because, gotta promote our brand, gotta promote our little podcast, help our family keep on growing, She keeps on growing, slipping through my fingers all the time. Oh, and I forgot to show you that we also got this gorgeous Run JIN picket, and it actually says the tour on the background. We got this the second day of the concert, and for my Spotify and Apple listeners, I'm sorry you can't see, it's just a giant orb of JIN's head, basically. It's one of those K-pop pickets, but it's extremely ginormous. It's bigger than my head, and I was very happy the second day carrying this around, and it also makes for a really good fan. So I'm going to put this down here for a moment so we can continue the discussion. So we got to the concert, we got to our seats 5 minutes before the show started, which made it even more exciting when JIN just emerged on stage with the lights off and nobody was prepared for him. No one ever sees him coming. He's just crazy, but it was like crazy, just like his outfit. After I'll Be There, let me look up the set list. Oh yes, I remember, because With the Clouds is the third song on the set list, and that's my friend's favorite song. It's like her soul song, the way that Super Tuna is my soul song. So the moment it started, she screamed high-pitched, eagle style. It was quite hilarious, but very real, and she started crying, and that was the first cry of many times that night for both her and I. And With the Clouds, while we were literally in the clouds because we were in the nosebleeds, was such a crazy experience. It was powerful, it was moving, it was healing. JIN's voice just filled up that entire arena. It didn't matter where you were, there's never a bad seat in the house when it comes to BTS, and I can stand by that. But the second day, witnessing With the Clouds and I'll Be There and Running Wild up close was a whole new experience because JIN could see us, he could perceive us. So as I was running wild in the seats, he looked over at us and he was running wild on the stage. It was just incredible. So it was really amazing to have those two different perspectives. But I digress. After With the Clouds, my other favorite song, which is my favorite song on Happy, was played, which is no other than Falling. And Falling is just such a banger. I think personally that's JIN's espresso. It's just so perfect. I think that it deserves all of its flowers. I mean, you're my soul and I'm just somebody. That is such a crazy, heart-wrenching line, and I'm never prepared for it every time that I hear it. And it was healing to hear it live. It was really fun to hear it actually on the floor, because hearing him belt like that and seeing him right in front of my eyes, it's like, that is Kim Seokjin. He's glowing, he's glistening on stage, and I'm witnessing Falling. So me and Allie were a complete wreck. I think he strategically placed those two songs right after the other so we can make fun of each other in the way that we reacted. Although we really don't make fun of each other. We kind of get the experience. It's just, there's something different about hearing BTS live. You can't really, pin that down. You can't back BTS in a corner. They just make you feel a certain way and you just got to accept it. Then he sang Don't Say You Love Me, and we were kind of more meditative at this state. I mean, we were singing at the top of our lungs, but it was healing. It was a nice serenity after the songs that we had just heard. And then suddenly, boom, Super Tuna. Now, I have had the chance to see him dance to Super Tuna very briefly at Jimmy Fallon, and that had already made me crazed because this is my favorite song of all time. I streamed it like most streamed 2 years in a row, I think since 2022. But hearing it live in its entirety the first day, I was not ready. Nothing could have mentally prepared me for the moment that song kicked in. The moment that I heard that synth and just the eclecticness of this gorgeous track, I was out of my mind. And my reaction the first day actually got 400,000 views on TikTok, and I think over 220-something thousand on YouTube. So I'm glad to know that my reaction is not in solitude. You guys respect me. We're in solidarity. We understand what I went through. It was crazy. I really did think I was going to explode. I was not exaggerating. I didn't know what was going to happen to me in that moment. I could have became confetti, but I survived it and I lived to tell the story. But yeah, Super Tuna the first day, I was definitely at my most intense level. I think a level 10 out of 10, losing my mind. But the second day, we had Soundcheck, And by the grace of God, we were able to move down to the first row of our section, which was right next to the stage, because the people in front of us weren't there. There was like crazy monsoon weather the second day. We almost were late to the concert yet again, even though we were at the hotel because of how bad the rain was. And I ended up accidentally sitting in a puddle of water in our car on the way there because the window was for some reason open. But I dried in time. It was okay. And I was dressed like a super tuna, so I was just in my natural habitat, fish in the sea. But JIN fished me out of that sea of JIN Island, because Soundcheck, we were right up there. He saw us immediately, Super Tuna outfits on display. I wonder if he recognized me from Empire State Building. It kind of seemed like he knew us. The connection, the vibe was there. But even if it wasn't, we made a whole new connection that night. What was so phenomenal and incredible about Super Tuna during Soundcheck was that JIN never does the choreography during the tour. He doesn't do it. He made it like a rock version of Super Tuna. But during Soundcheck, me and Allie, it's like a sleeper cell. We initially and immediately have to do the dance the moment that we hear that song start. So as we were doing the choreography around the paltuk, JIN looks over at us, he smiles, and he starts dancing with us. He starts doing the choreography to Super Tuna after seeing me and Allie dance it. And then, I kid you not, he dances the entirety of the song for the rest of the track until it finalizes. He does the whole choreography. So obviously we were losing our minds, and we weren't recording because security told us not to, even though everybody had their dang phone out around us. So then my mom stealthily pulled her phone up towards the end of the song to record, because it was just too precious not to capture. But I do wish we got the beginning moment when he dead on looked at us and was like, "Oh, you're doing the dance? I'll do it too." So it was absolutely incredible. I'm going to have to comb through Twitter and see if I can find anything. But yeah, Super Tuna Soundcheck was amazing. And then again, seeing it during the concert, I'll have the same energy as I heard it the first time. It never fades. I just love Super Tuna. And anyone who doesn't love that song can fight me to the ends of the earth. After Super Tuna, I don't know what made JIN think it was a good idea to put his most devastating set back to back. It was just absolutely gut-wrenching, and hearing it live, this is when I started crying. So he sang I Will Come to You, Abyss, and Background, back to back. Now, I Will Come to You is just such a beautiful song since he made it for Army early on as he got out of the military, and it was something he had on his heart for a long time while in the military as he was writing notes in his journal. So hearing it live was just such a vow and a promise to always be a source of comfort for each other with the music, and how music just really does transcend language barriers, because everyone was singing No Ye Gay, No Ye Gay Ga Gay, Yak So Gay, No Ye Gay Ga Gay. So whether you know Korean or not, you know the lyrics to that song. And we were all crying. We were just feeling everything. And then he sang Abyss, and I was a teary-eyed mess. I was just losing it. But it's so beautiful, the lighting, the way that he has this gorgeous light blue. It's like he's emerging out of the deepest, darkest parts of his depression and the moments where he felt lost, but he's traveling through that abyss. He's willing to walk through the uncertainty in order to be kind to himself and to find himself even when he feels lost. So you really could see that reflected within the stage, and the fact that he plays it while on he performs it playing the piano makes it even more intimate and real and just so authentic. And seeing it the second day, being up close, it was gorgeous. You could see all the detailing of the piano and just his beautiful facial expressions and the way that he feels the music so deeply. That man can belt. JIN is incredible. Just in and day out, I don't understand how he's able to sing like that at every single concert without fail. It's truly a wonder. So he sang Abyss, and then he sang Background, and I kind of also had a mental breakdown at the beginning of Background because that's my other favorite song, and it's my favorite on Echo. It was a lot, maybe in another place, another time, but it was healing. It was beautiful, and I'm really grateful I got to witness these songs live, because I don't know how this would ever have happened in another universe or timeline had JIN not have held a solo concert. So I really hate to be greedy, but I need that RM tour. Like, I need Kim Namjoon. Then my little rapper line of tours will be complete. I'll be fulfilled. And yes, JIN is the fourth rapper of BTS. We've heard how fast he speaks. And that's something I want to talk about, his showmanship. JIN is such a comedian. He's so funny, and his English has improved so much. I know he has his little cue sheet, like for some of the lines, just to make sure he's flowing and he knows what he wants to say, but he delivers perfectly. He has such sass to him too, the way that he's like, no talking, please, or just like everything that he says, it's so satisfying. I love to hear him speak. I could hear him speak for 3 hours and I'd be just as satisfied as the concert. But another thing I wanted to mention was that he was so funny that when I showed my dad clips of him talking and the translator translating what he was saying, he was like laughing, and he was like, oh, he hired a comedian, that's so funny, that's really cool. And I'm like, no, Dad, he didn't hire a comedian. Those are his thoughts. She's the translator. And that actually killed me. But it shows how if BTS weren't singers, if this wasn't their profession, comedians would be out of a job, because they are freaking hilarious. Everything they do is entertaining. But I digress. After background, he sang Another Level, and I was fully expecting him to like rise into the air because of that crazy contraption he had in Korea. I didn't realize he eliminated that for shows in the US. I guess maybe because of inside, it could have been a safety hazard since we weren't at an outdoor arena. So that's understandable, but I was a bit confused. But the second day, it was amazing because we were so close to the stage, so I could like see him at the end aisle perfectly. And honestly, the first day our view was incredible. Even though we were at the top of the arena, it was gorgeous, and my zoom in on my camera goes crazy, so I witnessed everything. And then he also performed Loser, which is another one of my soul songs. Me and Allie definitely have claimed that song, and it became our claim to fame the second day, because during the Sing Army segment, Loser was one of the songs, and we were belting it from the top of our lungs, and boom, we made it on the screen right behind JIN for the longest time. And I was like, we're on the screen, you love me, you miss me. So I locked in. I was not going to stop singing for anyone. But Tie Me Up was front and center on that screen. We also brought a little Yoongi by JIN Pickett, which was pretty hilarious as well. Made by us, so not bought at the venue. Special edition, one of a kind, can't get that anywhere. I wanted to mention too, he also has armies do charades. So for the first day, the charades was fencing and J-Hope. And he was kicking himself, JIN, when he couldn't get J-Hope correctly. He was like, oh, you're killing it, girl. Oh, I'm sorry for my fault. And anybody who knows me knows that I love when BTS says, I'm sorry for my fault. It's one of my favorite quotes and inside jokes of them. It's as if I made it, which I didn't. But I love it so bad. So hearing him say that, it was kind of perfect that he didn't get J-Hope as the answer, because otherwise we wouldn't have had that iconic moment. But everybody in the audience was doing like body waves. They were dancing Mona Lisa. I was dancing Mona Lisa, threw in a little Killin' It Girl. It was just really cute seeing how hard ARMY worked to help him understand. He did get fencing though. Everyone nailed that one, knocked it out of the park. But the second day, we had the most insane one. It was like orange suit guy was the clue, which I don't know how JIN could have ever got that, but somehow there was someone in the audience who had an orange, like she was fully eating a clementine. Then we went to a person in a suit, I think, wearing an orange tie, or at least had an orange t-shirt on, and then, out of nowhere, in the tip top of the arena, you see someone dressed as the Lorax. That was the orange suit guy, and JIN still couldn't get it because it was just so confusing. And what made it even funnier was the Lorax started doing a body wave. It was just a beautiful moment in history, regardless of whether JIN got the answer or not. And the whole point of that silly little charade game is that it picks the outfits we get for Super Tuna. So we got to see him in a taekwondo fit as well as a little sailor fit, and honestly, I love both of them. We almost lost the Taekwondo one the second day because people were like battling for the rope it one. But it's like, guys, we're going to see that later. Like, hold your rodeo, hold your horses. Let's wait. But as I was saying, speaking of rope it, after we sang Loser for Sing Army, rope it popped in. And rope it was incredible. I love seeing everybody swing their army bombs around like rope it, rope it. And we were so locked in day one because we had the cowgirl hats on. We were ready to yeehaw. But the second day, we were just as ready to rope it. And JIN looks so gorgeous during this stage. There's like another level of suaveness that he exudes, it's just insane. It's insane. And the first day he did his typical little one step, two step down the stage, but the second day he did a moonwalk, which ended up clowning a lot of armies, including myself, because many people believed, due to speculation, that BTS were making a tribute for Michael Jackson, recording songs for the tribute album, when in reality Jin was just feeling a little frisky and wanted to do the moonwalk. Absolutely no correlation. They confirmed they're not doing that. So can't believe everything you see on the internet. But fool me can't get fooled again. And the other thing about Sing Army was that the first day we were an utter mess. It was so bad. Like, we couldn't hear each other. He gave us the astronaut and nobody could start it at the beginning. It was really a devastating tragedy. I was embarrassed. Everyone was embarrassed. And Jin was like, we're fair to each other, guys. As much as I don't know English, you don't know Korean. And it was like, no. So that was not my proudest moment, but we redeemed ourselves the second day. Like, we really devoured Loser. Loser, we sang that song like it was no one's business. But another thing that really hit me like a shotgun shot to the heart during this concert was the BTS medley. Dynamite and Butter, I was acting a fool. I don't care what anyone says. Dynamite, it's so fun. It's just such a fun song. And the way that the lights were all rainbow and it really felt like we were shining through the city with a little funk and soul. I just felt so alive. I've never felt that alive. And hearing Jin sing Dynamite was just such a different experience. Like, it really felt like BTS was in the room with us. BTS was in the room with us, but it felt like the other six were there too. And just watching him do the choreography and just the confetti exploding and the lights and just ARMY celebrating, like, guys, we did it, we survived, they're all home. It was just the best feeling. Like, I can't even capture that. I can't pinpoint how powerful that moment felt. I literally could have cried during Dynamite. And then Butter was just as incredible. It was just so much fun. And I really love the English trilogy when it comes to the BTS songs. It's just great. And I don't care what anyone says. It's fun. And I am not a hater. Got an army right behind us when we say so. Let's roll. Or let's go. And then after that, after he puts like the most fun, sensational little tracks, he decides to kill us with Mikrokosmos and Spring Day. So for Mikrokosmos, we all were crying. We all were singing Shine, Dream, Smile. It was really healing and beautiful to see everybody. This was, I think, the third time that I cried, because I cried during Abyss and Background, and I think I cried a little during Don't Say You Love Me. Spring Day was just so healing and beautiful. Just to see the way that Jin composes himself on the stage, there's like a different serenity and profoundness that takes over him. The way that he falls to his knees and sings with such power and just takes it all in and soaks up the love of the army. Like, it was just so sweet and so beautiful. And I know that can't be easy to sing on his own, but he really does it justice. And it was just overall very healing. Then he sings The Astronaut after that song, and The Astronaut, I did start bawling. That song just makes me so emotional because it always takes me back to 2022. I'll never be able to survive that song mentally, but it was so fun to sing it live and to hear it live. And there's this one really hilarious part that I didn't notice day one or day two until after I watched my videos, but he has like all these giant inflated balls just like flying around the room. Like, they look like planets basically, and they're really fun, like kind of like beach balls, but like over exaggerated ones, and you could kind of like push them up into the air when they come close to you and watch them float around. We weren't able to hit them the first night, but the second night we got them so many times. One of them even hit me in the head, which was pretty funny. And they also hit the Mr. Lee in the head too, which was quite hilarious because we did see Mr. Lee. He was on our side, the man, the myth, the legend. But what I didn't notice was Jin released the most insane streamers I've ever seen in my life. Like, they looked like spider webs, and they completely entrapped people on the floor, and they missed me by like a hair the second night. It was so hysterical, because why was there just a clump of streamers stuck together that trapped this one group of people? It was just not their day, but it was so, so funny, and I thoroughly enjoyed every second of it. So I'm sorry, guys, for laughing at your pain, but I'm sure you were happy. You were one step closer to Jin. You were on the floor. So I'm not sorry. But after The Astronaut, he's like, psych, you thought I was gone. Let me sing Nothing Without Your Love. And Nothing Without Your Love is just such a concert song. It's so perfect. It's so Coldplay core, honestly. And I can see that Jin has adapted a lot of Chris Martin's little moves of like running around the stage into his own philosophy. And I think that's really cute because it shows how much he mentored him and inspired him with his artistry. But Jin is just another force. He's just insane the way that he sings. I can't get over it. And he looked flawless. Literally a cute little model prancing around stage singing that he's nothing without ARMY's love. And that song also makes me cry, so I think it was perfect. It was together with the astronaut. But then after that, we had the encore, and I really love the VCR he does for that. Like the way that he has all of the Run Jin episodes as he's like going through and deciding which one he wants to go back to. It's such a beautiful way to tie this whole tour together and make ARMY feel like we really were part of the show. And we're making history just by being together in that room. So then he sang Epiphany, which I did cry for, and my mom cried for at night too. She cried for Epiphany and Moon, which was so sweet. I was just hugging her. But hearing him sing I'm the One I Should Love in This World live healed something in me. It's a song I've been waiting to hear live probably since I became an ARMY in 2021. So witnessing it in person was just so powerful, and hearing everybody in the room sing it with such conviction and just meaning every word, it was just healing. So that was amazing. Moon was amazing. Even when he bullies ARMYs if they don't get the intro or if they do the intro too well, he had the security guard sing at night one, which was funny. And night two, I really loved that he had all of us sing it together before he started the song. So that was the most beautiful. ARMY is most harmonious when we're singing with BTS. And that's okay. We can't be complete without each other. And after he pretended Moon was the last song, he sang To Me Today to end the concert. And that is the perfect song to finalize because it's so impactful. It packs a punch, and everyone has so much fun going, the one, pointing their arm into the air and saying, now I fly to where my heart beats, because we did. Our heart flew us to Jin. So it was powerful. But yeah, Soundcheck day 2 was incredible. I got Running Wild, Another Level, and Super Tuna. So I don't think I could have asked for a better top 3. But overall, it was just such a beautiful, heartfelt concert. And I hope that my little podcast episode describing everything to you was of enjoyment, was fun. If you enjoyed it, let me know. If you want the second vlog from day 2, let me know too. You're gonna get it whether you like it or not because I have a lot of content to edit with. But yeah, we also got so many freebies. ARMY is so generous when it comes to freebies. We got like the most adorable little stickers with like Prudential Center, our concert date, and it was like a Super Tuna logo. Absolutely love that. We got little photo cards, some from the other members as well. I got some J-Hope things and Yoongi. And we also got buckets full of free Jin ramen. So thank you, Jin, so much for that gift. And Soundcheck VIP also gave us a really cute Run Seokjin EP tour fanny pack that was like silver with the logo, as well as some Run Jin pins, which were so cute. Another thing I did want to mention is the second day after Jin, I went to see the first deaf and hard of hearing K-pop group Big Ocean because I was doing media coverage for Damona Lauren Press. If you want to see my photos, stay tuned for her article, which should be up very soon on Blunderbook magazine. But this concert was so cute because there were so many armies from the night before were actually at Big Ocean. So their freebies were in very similar veins, and that was adorable. And everyone was just so sweet and loving and kind, and I felt very welcomed as a media person. It was really fun photographing the concert, and I got some crazy interactions with the members as well. So if you're interested in hearing how that happened, how my little story unfolded, and how I kind of got into K-pop concert photography, perhaps that could be another podcast episode. But yeah, that closes out today, so thank you to everyone listening on Spotify and Apple, but that's all for KO. Bye!